Yeah, so I had a good talk with Jim. Just get the NHL drafts around the corner, Donnie, and just trying to get a feel where this organization. The combine was last week. There's a lot of UFAs and RFAs that have to be, talked to. We have so much going on, and the drafts around the corner. So I just wanted to get a bit of an update from Jim.
Yeah, you talk to him on a regular basis. So Jim Rutherford talks with Rick. Let's start here.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, there was a lot made of a report that the Canucks, who picked 15th, talked to the player from Slovakia who is expected in many parts to go second overall, and that's Juraj Slafkovsky. So did the Canucks talk to him, and what did you make of it after your conversation with Jim?
Yeah, Jim said they talked to him, but it's not a big deal. Like I don't understand why this story broke in a lot of ways, because as Jim said to me, it's our job to talk to every player. They talked to Shane Wright as well. I mean, who's projected to go number 1 overall, Donnie. So when it comes to that, they did talk to the second overall pick. But one thing Jim said is we're not necessarily aggressive right now trying to get that second overall pick. He said they talked to everyone in the top 5. If one of those top 5 teams go to Vancouver before the draft and say, hey, guys, we want one of your players, it's just doing their due diligence, Donnie. That's all it was. One thing that Jim did say that I want to pass along, he said Cami Granato did a heck of a job getting his a group ready for the combine. Todd Harvey was there. Clancy was there. He said they had really, really good meetings with
the interviews
players.
And the fitness testing.
The fitness testing. He said after that weekend with the combine, he says we are 100% ready for the draft. He was very impressed with the job his group did at the combine. But they talked to everybody in the top 5, including Shane Wright. So there you go, Donnie.
Yeah, and keep in mind that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
But the thing that sparked everybody's interest or got everybody's ears perked up was that they asked him if he could play center. So
that's right.
And with JT Miller, maybe on the moves, that interested a whole lot of people. And also keep in mind that NHL teams will talk to players who they probably won't have a chance to draft just because down the road,
great
2,
point.
3, 5, 10 years down the road, they want to have a little bit of a read on the player. So that's not that unusual, but that question about moving to the middle was something that, again, interested a whole lot of people. JT Miller, Brock Boeser, negotiations.
Okay, so JT Miller and Brock Boeser, folks, still in the early stages. Nothing really to report right now. Both sides want to get it done. Both sides with both these players. Very interesting stuff on Miller. I asked him flat out, everybody in this city, especially certain members of the media, want Miller traded. And he said, look, the first step, Donnie, is to get this guy re-signed. They would like to keep him, talk contract. The quote from Rutherford was, I believe JT Miller wants to stay in Vancouver, and I know the Vancouver Canucks want to sign him, but it's got to be at the right term. It's got to be at the right term because he said the Canucks have to sign other players. Right now, they don't have enough players to be competitive for the Stanley Cup. So he also felt, Rutherford, that both sides at some point in the next month or two will know how close or far they are, and they will adjust accordingly at the time. But the goal is to sign JT Miller.
He still has a season left in his contract.
He does. And he also said everybody had Miller traded at the deadline, and maybe this drags on into the season. I don't know. But right now, very early stages with Miller and Boeser, but the goal is to sign both. He did say 100% they're going to try to get Miller done, but like you said, it's got to be at the right term, Donnie.
And I know you know the answer to this, but not everybody out there does. Bo Horvat.
Yeah, and Bo Horvat, he's right there with Miller and Boeser as absolute key signings for the future, and absolutely they want to get Bo.
UFA, they can't talk to him, right?
For a while.
Yeah,
for a while. So into this in July 1st, I think. So,
Mike Yeo,
I brought up assistant coach, and Jim would only say that they are looking for the right assistant coach who can complement Bruce Boudreau, and they want to land somebody for him, so they're going to continue that process, but absolutely they are looking at an assistant for Bruce.
Are they looking at somebody who is more into analytics than Bruce would be?
I didn't, because we were rushing up against the clock, I didn't get a chance to delve too much into it, but he did confirm that they are looking for an assistant coach for sure.
Okay, Abbotsford.
Abbotsford. Everything right now with Abbotsford, they are very excited about Abbotsford next year. They want a very competitive team. They're going to go out and make sure. He said it is very important to us to have a good supporting cast in Abbotsford. The key thing he said to me, no cash will be spared to make Abbotsford the best they can be. I think they were a little disappointed. They put a lot of money into this year. Abbotsford had one of the highest payrolls, and Donnie, they went out and in the first round.
Well, it was so strange because they'd won 9 straight, and then they had this. They lost a couple of games. They just happened to be in the playoffs, right? Yeah. So it was a real strange situation where everything looked so positive, and they had sent players down, they'd strengthened their roster, and then all of a sudden they're out just so quickly.
But he did say they are going to work hard at making sure Abbotsford is a top flight team next year, Donnie.